Yo, what's good? What's good? You live with your boy B Castelliano first, and the newest member to the Loopy Lounge Network, Kurt Coup Gee. Feel what I'm saying? You'll be seeing his podcast up soon. Feel what I'm saying?
It's coupe if you French.
Coup Gee.
Okay.
Coup Gee. Feel what I'm saying? You'll be seeing his podcast up soon. The what you want to call it, good brother?
What's that? The podcast?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just a little background. What we're gonna be doing is it'll be called Cannabis Talk with Coup Gee. And throughout this journey, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take you on a journey through life, which pretty much starts the same way as any other life, from seed to toddler stage, from there to teenage, and then maturity, and and in addition to that, it's gonna have history tidbits in there. A lot of valuable information that's surrounding the mystic plant that has intrigued mankind for centuries is going to be available on this channel.
Okay. I also heard you got a lot of education on the plant system too, of where everything come from and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And how it was like originated and what made this plant the number one plant around the world that was used by people.
What did that was everybody knows the healing properties. Everything natural is better than these pills they trying to force feed you, which is one of the reasons why it's still considered a Schedule 1 drug, which is crazy because it's the years of scientific studies, the fact that this plant has so many beneficial uses, and the reason that it was demonized was for money and racism, and that's a lot of the background on it. For one, it was competition for the timber industry. I mean, it's much easier to grow this plant and get paper and things like that than it is to grow a tree. The medical properties, the epilepsy, and what it is nowadays is the pharmaceutical companies. Why do you think got so many people hooked on this stuff, man? This stuff has heroin in it. It has cocaine in it. You remember they started putting that in the Coca-Cola,
Yeah, facts.
And that's the point. It was also used as a tool of racism because a lot of colored people, I don't say black because like I said, there's no such thing as black or white. We are all shades of wheat. Look up the color palette for the color wheat. We are all shades of wheat. So they use that to take us darker wheat people and take away our 13th Amendment. And when you take away a person's 13th Amendment, guess what that makes you? A slave again. People need to go read it, After it says that you're entitled to these, unless you're, and that's another thing. Like, I don't agree with none of the politicians, but the current guy being a convicted felon, he was unable to do it. We got brothers now that are felons and can't seem to get a break or get on their feet because of the stigma that comes with it.
Yes.
So it's just gonna be a journey into the history, the growth cycles, just general education and community awareness around something that is controversial, shall I say?
I want everybody to know who's tuning in.
There's different methods of ingestion. There's different uses. You can make rubs and bombs instead of using Bengay. There's rubs that you can use and tinctures that have cannabis in it that have the same effects and work even better. And you can even make some of them yourself. And we're gonna cover some of that, but we're gonna save all that for later.
Yeah, that show gonna be fire.
I want everybody to know who's tuning in.
Well, we're gonna do it. I wanted to, more so than fire. I wanted to be educational and informative. And the thing I always gonna tell on the show is do your own research. Don't take anything I say as golden. Always do your own research. And in the age of technology we are, you got the smartest motherfucker in your pocket. Google. You know what I mean? And don't just read the first thing you see. Hey, at the end of the day, do your own research. That way you can vibe, and that's what I wanted to do. I want it to be an actual learning experience. Yeah, I mean, you gotta, if you're gonna learn about something, you're gonna learn about it, and how it relates to life and and things like that. Like we talked about earlier when we was in the background about how the earth is a female, and I with proof the same way that a female gives birth and gives life is the same way that the earth does. You take that seed and it's put into a dark hole and it's kept wet, moist in a woman that's embryonic fluid, and it gives birth, you know.
Mm.
And then,
Yes.
you know, we're gonna dive into, and then, you know, when you understand, it goes into the root structure, and you know, we're gonna relate this to life, because when you see a tree and a beautiful apple tree, you see that tree, but you don't see all the work that was you don't see all the work that was done in the darkness for that tree to be able to grow, and that darkness is the root. So that's what we have to do with ourselves. So it's gonna be something I want to, you know, enlighten and elevate and show, like how, you know, you got to work on you, and it can all be taught
Yo,
through something as simple as a seed.
I feel, bro, no funny. I feel this show, right, that you coming out with, man, is very educational for the people. You know what I mean? Because the people need to know and understand these things, because a lot of people utilizes this plant
Yep.
and don't really know anything about it.
Exactly, and that's the thing. I want to come with education, facts, backed by studies, and I want users to challenge it. Go do your own research and challenge some of it, because in turn we can educate each other.
Fact.
You know, because you might read and come across and have an idea that never crossed my mind, and you know, it's the about, you know, integrative information exchange is what I want to do. Integrative, because I want everyone to work, you know, solo, create win-win solutions and situations, you know, for everybody. You
Definitely
know,
heightens the awareness. Definitely heightens the awareness
oh yes.
of
And knowledge
of
is free.
everything.
Knowledge is free. Anywhere you go,
Yeah.
if a motherfucker charging you for knowledge, then you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And that's one reason why I don't fuck with churches, man. You know, at the end of the day, I live in the South, man. I pass I got 15 churches within 1 mile, and then, you know, I'm not religious, but in the Bible, Jesus only had 12 followers. That many people ain't chosen. And how y'all believe in the same thing, but y'all can't agree? There ain't no
So
confusion when it
I,
comes to
I
God.
got a, I got a question for you, bro, Kurt. Like, what inspired you to go into this journey of the studies that you in right now?
Oh, right now, and it's kind of a crazy story. I got hands-on experience. I've been doing it since I've been messing around. So I've been about 13, 14, you know.
Mm.
Um, and the crazy part is one of my home buddies from Cali, he bought a house down here, and he was going back, and he comes out of his room when I'm taking the airport. He has the plant, and he has it in a Minute Maid box. I automatically, it's droopy. I'm like, hey, bro, that's root bound, you know, and that's why it's looking
Mm.
like I get that motherfucker to me. You don't know what you're doing, you know. I don't give a fuck if you from
Mm.
Cali, because Cali claimed the Kush, but the Kush never came from Cali. That's from the East Coast. That's from the East Coast, man. It started in it's called pre 98 Bubba Kush Spag Seed, found in Miami, Florida. Is what, and that's
Mm.
why it changed. And you know, toward the 2000s when the marijuana and cannabis started changing. You know, I don't even like to refer to it as marijuana because that's a fake name. I refer to it as cannabis or hemp. So
Mm.
that when he gave me that plant, it I don't know, man. That plant was the spark that ignited. You know, because we all can be a spark like the flame, and
That's a
depending on
fact.
how that flame burned, you know, so that spark put me back into like positioning. So I started my experiments, doing different tests on it, documenting my results. I've done a lot on it, and it grew from there. And you know, the
Mm.
way the universe works, I was online, and somehow college
So that's
popped up.
so that's crazy. So it was like what sparked you was like you having a project that needed to be fixed and reconstructed and brought back to life.
Yeah,
And that's what just like inspired you to just go full throttle with it. You know what I'm saying? That's
man, it
dope,
didn't
man.
stop.
You know what
I
I'm saying?
mean, you got to think this. It's a hobby. And if you know, I don't know something about us men. Have you noticed when we start to get older, we start planting gardens and shit?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
things that we never did.
yeah, like you know, if you go past, you see most men in the garden or out cutting the grass as we get older. And for me, it's a study of life. I started learning more about it. Somehow the school came up. I checked it all out, and the federal government paid for me to go. So
that's dope.
yeah.
Dope.
So hey, why not do it? And at first, I was hard headed, thinking I know everything. But my lady friend, she told me, just read and study. And believe it or not, I actually learned a lot of small details and things that I did not, know. Like I know a lot about it, but you'll never know everything, and that's the thing. The rabbit hole always gets deep.
Hold on, for you younger brothers and sisters that's tuned in and be listening, man. You gotta understand what this brother is saying right here, man. He just showed you and broke it down for y'all that it's not about what you do, it's about how you doing it. You know what I'm saying? And he just showed you the legitimate way and process how to go about doing what you like to do. You know what I'm saying? And be legitimate behind what you're doing. You know what I mean? So you got to look at these things, and these is the things that's fruitful, and these is the older brothers or people, period, in within our community that you should be getting information from. These are the brothers that you should be tuned into, that's giving you this kind of information, because this is raw information that you can apply to your life today.
And here's one. And here's one that I'm pretty sure that a lot of people always. This is a question I always get, because it's what they sell. THC-A. You ever seen that? The THC-A stuff they be selling.
Yeah.
What that is THC-A is tetrahydrocannabinol. A stands for acid. It's the acidic form, and what it is that have a farm bill of 2018 that was passed, which enabled them, if it's under a certain percentage, they're able to sell it. And pretty much what it is it's not properly dried, it's not cured, and then they tell you that you can add heat, and that transforms the THC-A, which is acid, into THC. That is true, but it's the method of applying heat. You can't light it up. That has to be what's called decarboxylated, in which when you do it, that's what's good for making edibles and things like that. Yeah, okay, that's good. So decarbonate. Yeah, that process is simple. Put your oven on 250. You spread your THC-A, or if you have a bad crop, that's what you use that for. You can use that to make your oils, for your tincture, for your rubs, your butters that you can use for your food.
So
you can
everything about this plant. Everything about this plant is being utilized. This plant is highly valuable and is highly marketable. So this is what the whole control thing is about this plant, because you could grow. This will always confuse me. Like, this plant could grow anywhere. You know what you're doing and how to cultivate that plant. It could grow anywhere.
Right.
So it's like plant was deemed illegal.
For parts of racism, I can get, because there was this is where it comes to do. It was a Hispanic. They were here as refugees. I'm not sure I'm getting that correct. It was during the 30s. I know I'm correct on that part. And then black people, and they were able to deport these people, and they made movies. Like, there's a movie called Reefer Madness where they said, "Oh, black people smoke weed, it makes them go crazy and rape white women." Yeah, they use propaganda.
Oh,
and they call
okay.
His name was Harry J. Anslinger. Was his name? He was a racist. He was a timberman. So he was about money. It was about racism, and that's why they call it Mary J, because his name was Harry J. And if you look at the H and the M, they kind of similar. So they changed the name to marijuana. So when they took it before the courts with all the propaganda, they didn't even know what they was doing, because they originally called it hemp. It grew everywhere. They grew farms. They made clothing. They made plastics. They made paper from it. They made rope from it. They even used it to pay taxes.
Okay. Yo, that's time, man. Yo, That's time right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna cut it out, man. But definitely tune in. We're gonna have part 2 coming to this very, very soon. We're gonna have part 2 coming out. So definitely tap in. Thank you for tapping into the Daily Motivation with your boy F1MG First, B Castelliano, and Kurt, man. And he got his show coming out. So you gotta keep in tune so you can know when that show is gonna come out, and follow on all platforms.
Definitely coming out.
I think we might be able to go ahead and run the first episode. Either I don't know if you're gonna be available tonight to get the intro set up, but we might be able to run it either the night or tomorrow, because I'm going to